Coalesce podcast. My name's Grant.
And I'm Meg.
And today we are going to look at what it takes to really take an app and say, hey, what if I want both a kind of a public, I don't have to log in app, and also one that you have to log into. And so what we have here, Meg has pulled one up and she's logged into just a regular Coalesce app, and we're using Entra ID as the provider. And so go check out a different video. There's some videos back there that we talk about how to do that. But right now that's set up like that. But what we want to do is make it so that when you actually hit this screen, it doesn't prompt you to log in, that you have an option to log in later as opposed to having to log in right away.
So those of you not familiar, when you hit log out, it brings you here, and I can't get back to the home screen right away. I go back to look at posts, it brings me back to here. And we want to be able to go right to that home screen.
So for like line of business applications and stuff like that, this is exactly what you want. Like if you're having to make a business, an app for a company and it's running their internal business, this is exactly what you want. However, if you have something where you really want to have like a public face or something where people can just use it,
like a blog site maybe.
Exactly. You can look at the blogs, no problem, but you can't do anything until you log in, and you have permissions and things like that when you log in. So really what we have to do is make it so that when you hit the page, you don't get redirected to the login when you just hit the root page or any page that is part of the app website. That you get redirected. Now, so the real key here, and let's go ahead and bring in Visual Studio and kind of take a look at what that takes. So there is a controller, even though this is a single page application. We've talked about this before. We're not actually loading an index.html. We're actually hitting a home controller that is the default route for basically everything that is not routed otherwise, which are like our API calls and things like that. And so we want to go in and actually look at what's in that controller that is serving up that main page that essentially bootstraps Vue.
Yep. So let's see if I can remember where that is. Right here, home controller, and down here we have authorize. So we actually want to make this to be allow anonymous. That way anybody can hit it.
And the thing here is, this is not Coalesce. This is, Coalesce built it for you, but this is just a home controller like you'd have in any other one. Now, if you opted for, there are some ways to opt for just having a static app, but what this will do is it'll basically allow you to inject things into your index.html file that, like, if you wanted to put in users and things like that, if there were things that you wanted to put in that file, this gives you the flexibility to do that, which is really handy. Since the whole thing is running in kind of one process, all of the Vue and the API backend are kind of co-located in this case in your one Coalesce project.
Yeah, that's just that ASP.NET Core controller. But then we are going to go and make some changes to our Coalesce app, because now, while this will allow us to,
let's go ahead and run that. You want to go ahead and run that, and we'll just show what happens.
Right,
so this is like the first step. So this is essentially going to allow you to access the homepage without logging in. However, there's still a few issues.
Probably the best way to do it is to just kind of
let's just kind of work our way through this, pretend like we haven't worked all the details out ahead of time and know what to do.
So I'm currently logged in, but now, or at least I thought I was logged in, but anyways, I might not be logged in, but anyways, I don't know why I did that.
Here we are.
I am logged in.
Now you can log out.
Now if I log out, okay, so you see what's happening. We're stuck in this forever loop. And if we look at our network tab over here, you can see we can have preserve log on and then stop this. You can see right here, this who am I is coming back with a 401 unauthorized. So a good hint is to probably go look at your security service / who am I function. Let's stop this so it doesn't.
And so basically what's happening is whenever you get a 400 error, it's going out and saying, hey, let's log in instead. You must need to log in.
Yeah. So
it causes a loop.
And so you're getting that 401 just because Coalesce it has some security stuff on it. So look for this who am I, security service.cs, that's right. Make sure you don't go to your generated one because you want to access this one. And on here you can see by default, Coalesce only allows logged in users to hit endpoints. So you see there isn't a security attribute specified, but the permission level by default looks like this. What we want is this, allow all, and this will allow anybody to come and try and get this user information, so that we don't hit that.
And because we're changing some Coalesce things down in the data project, we're going to have to run .NET Coalesce in order to propagate these back up, because at the end of the day, what this is really doing is it's creating a controller with an allow all permission on it.
Let's go ahead and run that for a second. Should only update a couple of files. Great, just one
Great.
file.
There's our control. Speaking of the controller, it's right there.
So now when we launch this, we should be able to hit that page, and I think I am logged out. So
I think you
I
are,
don't
that's
think I logged
right.
back
So you
in.
lost your cookie in this case.
Mhm.
Using your cookies, it's not always good, but in this case, it's excellent.
They're bad cookies, they were stale. Okay, great. So you can see there's no user context, but I still have this log out option, which doesn't really make sense because it doesn't do anything, right? Now I can't log back in. So obviously the next step is that we are going to go to VS Code.
So we need to create a button basically that'll say, hey, when you're logged out, put a log in, and when you're logged in, provide a log out.
Yeah, yep. And I'm gonna be lazy and I'm just gonna do that right here. Oh, that's not lazy, that's actually kind of a good spot for it, so take that back. I'm gonna be lazy and copy paste this stuff.
Yeah, a little laziness in coding is a great thing.
Yeah, until you
Inspires.
forget to change something. So, something important here, we're redirecting to the sign-in page. I happen to know it's /sign-in, but you can figure that out by going to the Razor page and checking. We also want to make sure that when you go to the sign-in page, well,
Let's go look at the Razor page so you can see why this is the case.
yeah, let's change that. I wonder if there's a sign-in. Look at that, great.
Ooh, exactly that.
Um,
Okay, so you can see it's kind of modifying up there in the upper right. You can see the code updating as we go.
Let's go look at the Razor page though really quick. It's a good call. So, web and pages, sign in and sign out. You can see here, sign in. This is how I know what that route is. And basically what it's going to do here, well, this is just the actual,
If you look at the code behind.
this will be more interesting.
So there's this property in here called return URL.
Mhm.
And that is basically, you have to know if you're going to sign in, because we're redirecting out to a third party, we have to know where to come back to, right? And so I think at this point, you could put anything you wanted in there, but we can just come back to the root page
Yeah.
for right now. If you wanted to put something else in there and calculate an href value that had the right thing for whatever page you're on, totally fine.
Yeah, you could do similar.
Go ahead and
when
do
you
that.
get to your landing page, it's like kind of more of an ad for the site, and then when you sign in, it redirects you to your dashboard.
Yeah, actually,
Something
yeah,
like that
right,
would be
great. You /dashboard, whatever you want to do is gonna work out.
But yeah, we're just gonna do, I think that's,
That's on the icon, but yeah,
oh, yeah, that is on the icon.
the icon probably won't respect that.
Great call. It's
Return
that,
URL, so
Yeah.
just question mark, yeah,
or is it redirect? I forget now.
I think it's return URL.
Let's just double check. Sorry, this is what happens. It is return URL. Thank you. Copilot's lying to me.
Yeah, sometimes Copilot lies.
Yep.
Great, so there we go, we have the return URL.
There we go. Return URL, that's gonna bring us back to the home page. Okay, so let's
We
just
can
test
give
it.
that a try.
So sign in. Okay, this is good. If I click this, it's loading the sign in. Give it a second. All right, great. And it brought me back to here.
Yep, because you're already signed in with Microsoft, so it's just gonna log you into the app since
Yeah.
you've already confirmed everything.
Yeah, if you're not signed, it'll bring you to the actual Microsoft page, and then
Yeah.
it'll bring you back here. But I have my Microsoft cookies, so. And log out and sign in, and if that works, great. Now, the only other thing that we probably want to do is you don't want to see both of these at the same time.
Yeah,
It's really
kind of confusing.
Yeah, you're like, what the heck is happening? So, easy enough, just put a if user info, you can just check if the ID is filled out, and if they have an ID, they're probably signed in. Else. Okay, here we go, log out. And sign in.
And you probably want to sign in, sign out, log in,
Yeah.
log out. I don't know what the appropriate term in these days. For a while, it was always sign, and then log has kind of come back a little bit, so.
So, whatever, you guys can figure.
Now, one other thing you may want to think about too is in that method where you return information about the user, because it's kind of set up for that, it's going to return an object. You may want to change that and have an actual method that says, is this person signed in, and get a little bit more information back depending on how you want that to work. So
Yeah,
There's some
I would be
options there.
careful returning back information to anonymous users.
Oh, right, but even just the idea, I think there may even be let's go look at that real quick and see. I forget exactly what's on that object, but just making sure that you're only handing back information about the user when they're signed in. Obviously, that's only the way it works. So it returns the user info, and then obviously those are going to turn out to be nothing. But maybe even if you just returned hey, is this person signed in? You could return a bool or something like that.
Yeah, so this gets it all off of the claims, so that's totally fine. We're not, it'd be different if this took in like an ID and then you did a lookup on that ID. And then you returned an email with that or something. That's kind of not a good idea, because if somebody gets your user ID, it's very easy to get your email and other kind of compromising information. This is grabbing it from the claim, so as soon as you're logged in, it just grabs it from that claim.
Yeah, and one nice thing about this is all done by cookies, which is actually a decent way to do it. You can actually do it other ways too. If you wanted to use a JWT, that's going to work if you just attach that to your header. So
good, yeah, and then you can protect your front end pages with some route guards and make sure obviously all your backend stuff is secure. You can only bypass route guards, but
yeah, and at the end, that's a great point. I mean, route guards are really just on the front end. It's really just window dressing, so don't count. Route guards are not security. Anything on the front end is not security.
Easily that you're not logged in and you can't access that page, but I can go edit the JavaScript and just get past. So make sure that your endpoints are also secure.
Yep, absolutely. Great. Anything else, Meg? I think we kind of walked through how to do that. And you can do this with any different kind of auth, whether it's Microsoft or Google or even the local accounts. All that stuff's going to work with this too. So, and a lot of apps, you want that. You may want a forward-facing page that does some kind of marketing kind of stuff if you wanted to have an app that was kind of complete in that respect. So anyway, great. Well,
that's it.
Hey, thanks everybody. Until next time, keep on building some awesome Coalesce apps.